Hey everyone, I'm going to be recording a series of videos and trying to make it quick and show you how Jesus is the same as the God of the Old Testament, that Jesus is God. And today what we're going to be looking at is the great I am statement. In particular, we'll be looking at Exodus 3:13 through 14 in the Old Testament and John 8:56 through 59 from the New Testament. Okay, so what I'll do is with all these videos, I'll show you the verse, and of course you can pause and read the verse, and then give you a brief explanation of what's going on, be it in the Old Testament or the New Testament, and show you how Jesus is indeed God. Okay, so I'm going to put the first verse up on here, which is Exodus 3:13 through 14. So that was Exodus 3:13 through 14. A quick background of Moses. Moses was raised in the palace in Egypt, and he ended up killing an Egyptian because he saw the Egyptian mistreating his people, and he ended up running away because he committed murder. And 40 years later, after that incident, God meets with Moses in the desert through the burning bush incident, and this is where the interaction takes place. And basically God says, okay, Moses, I'm going to send you to Egypt to get my people out. Now Moses says, that's all fine and great. Who are you? Because the people are going to ask me who sent you. And this is where God finally introduces himself with a name, the great I am, or the I am statement. So God basically, Moses says, suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they ask me, what is his name? Then what shall I tell them? And then the scriptures say, God said to Moses, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. And, I don't know about you, but I believe that is a very powerful statement that is full of meaning and that is full of power, and that you can draw so much out of it. So that is Exodus 3:13 through 14. God introduces himself to Moses as the great I am, or I am. Now I'll show you the scriptures from the New Testament, specifically John 8:56 through 59. And this is Jesus interacting with some Jews. All right, so once again, pause the screen if you'd like to read the verses. So here we see Jesus interacting with a whole bunch of Jews, including a fair number of Pharisees, which are the religious leaders, who knew their Torah or the Old Testament really well, and they have great regard for Abraham and, respect the man a lot because he's the father of the nation, great man of God, great man of faith. So the discussion between them and Jesus ends up on the topic of Abraham, and in John 8:56, Jesus makes the statement, your father Abraham rejoiced at the thought of seeing my day. He saw it and was glad. Now the Jews go, wait a second, hold on. You're not even 50 years old? Not that that mattered because Abraham was, long gone, not just 50 years ago. The Jews said to him, and you have seen Abraham? Come on, you're crazy. You're demon-possessed. Actually, it's mentioned that earlier they call him demon-possessed. And then Jesus makes an even more astonishing and astounding statement. He says in John 8:58, I tell you the truth, Jesus answered, before Abraham was born, I am. Now, people who just read the statement without putting any thought into it probably pass over it without realizing what they just read. But look at the reaction of the Jews. Look at the reaction of the Pharisees. In John 8:59, we see that. At this, they picked up stones to stone him. But Jesus hid himself, slipping away from the temple grounds. If Jesus was not making a huge statement and was just saying some nonsensical stuff, why would they react it that way? Well, it's simple. Jesus blasphemed. How? I mean, he didn't mention God in a single statement in that particular verse that we're looking at. Well, you see, when Jesus said, before Abraham was born, I am, he was making a direct reference to Exodus 3:13 and 14, where God introduces himself as I am. This is why the Jews were going to stone him, because he had, without any reservation, with tremendous amount of authority and power, basically declared to the Jews he was speaking with, to the Pharisees, to the religious leaders, to everyone, to us, as we read the Bible today, that, hey, before Abraham was born, I am. That Jesus, I am, is the God of the Old Testament standing right in front of you. So I pray that this has been enlightening to you and has given you a better idea of how Jesus is God, and how Jesus, quite on a number of occasions, ties himself to the Old Testament, where God reveals himself in different ways. And well, yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment, or just send me a note, and I'll do the best I can to help you. All right? Everything I know is from God, and I'm no expert, I'm no theologian or anything like that. I know what the Lord teaches me, and whatever I know is because I've read God's Word, the Bible. God bless you all.